Welcome back to Moana Studios. Today, we are so excited to have our own short term missionaries right here in the studio chatting with us. We want to hear their story, how they got here, what was the challenges, and what the Lord has done in their lives. They've come all the way from Manchester to Zambia for 6 months. So we welcome you, Diana and Linval.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you, Janey.
We are really looking forward to hearing their story, and I hope that you're challenged by what they share, not just hearing a nice story, but to be challenged to step out and do what God is asking you to do. So, Diana, tell us, what inspired you to come to Zambia?
Well, when I was around 14 years old, and I gave my life to God, there was a group of us who did it. There was a prophetic word spoken out, and the word was that we would, as this group, go to Africa as missionaries.
Wow.
Well, only now I'm in my 60s and I feel God has spoken to me. So we had a speaker come out and say, it's time for you to go. It's time for people to get up and move. And plus, our church was supporting your work here in Zambia. So that's when I thought I'd approach you last year if I could come out to work voluntarily. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's amazing. And Linval, what about you? How did you get roped into this?
Interesting that you're saying Robertson, really, but I think the bottom line is really that I became involved, inspired very much really by Diane's enthusiasm and the calling that she's felt really that God's called her really to come into the ministry. Um, but in many ways, though, I became inspired by that. But underneath that, though, I saw myself as being, you might say, the supportive husband. Yeah. I couldn't really kind of imagine, my wife coming all the way over and my being there. So my heart goes out reaching her really, but it was just wanting to just be part of that and to see myself as being the husband really is going to be there to support
Yeah,
and
that's
get behind, and get behind
oh,
the
and
call really.
you've been a brilliant support. I can assure you. And Diana, I know you've been working very hard. You've come to work in the school. We have a small school here with just 20 children, and Diana has taken the grade 3 and 4 class, a small class. But you've been such a blessing for the kids. I've seen them flourishing. I've seen you flourishing also.
Thank you.
And but there has been some challenges, different culture,
Yeah.
different teaching environment. So what were some of the challenges for you?
I think where the school's concerned, some of the challenges has been right. So I'm the kind of person, and I come from an environment where it's work, 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 constantly working. And so when it was like a different way, there wasn't that pressure. I was kind of thinking, right, okay, how do I deal with this? So I had to step back a bit and
Okay.
just check how am I using my time? What do I need? I just relax, really,
Yeah.
relax in a sort, which I did do. To some others, it would seem as though I'm working, working, but to me, I'm relaxed. It's more relaxed than I would have been in the UK, and also the language. Not that it was spoken in the school, but when you go out, obviously the different language was a challenge, and the time. So it goes really dark here around 5, 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
That was a shock because I'm like wanting to get out and do stuff. So yeah, getting used to that. I found I did get used to it and use my time.
Oh, well done. Yeah. And Linval, what about you? I know you've not been in the school. You've been doing some amazing other work. Tell us about what kind of ministry you've been doing.
Okay. Well, my role has been varied, I think, as you said, Janie. Um, when I joined the team and came over, part of my thinking was, what would I be doing? And I didn't want to feel too redundant, but at the same time, I didn't really want to push myself in any sort of area. So I've always kind of wanted just to know how can I be a benefit in the different areas. But the two main aspects of my involvement has been with Moana Mission Ministries,
Mm-hmm.
and that is different elements really, but also church planting
Okay.
side as well. So, in regards to the Moana ministry, a large part of that initially really has been actually going out into the community with the team
Yep.
going into the school, but also going into the compounds as well,
Mm-hmm.
and just being part of that as well.
Mm.
And that's been very exciting. Lots of learning involved in that. Dancing, the songs, just engaging with the children. I think I've said elsewhere about the energy involved, but most important, just being part of that team
Yeah.
and sharing the word. And that's what you may call off-site.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The other part of the ministry has also been on-site,
Yeah.
and chunks of that have been, by your inspiration and you giving the challenges and opportunities, has been around doing a fair amount of DIY, helping out in the studio
Mm-hmm.
aspects really. So where there's been any gaps or any kind of practical tasks, been involved in that, but also been involved in the garden, which is also linked to the park,
Mm.
linked to the school.
Yeah.
So I've been involved in that as well. And again, where there's been any kind of works to be done, any any activities to be done. So I'm very much hands-on, and that's been very excellent for me.
Mm.
I did mention before also about church planting.
Yeah.
So as well as being part of Moana ministry, I've also been involved in church planting work as well,
Brilliant.
and that's been exciting. Elements of that have been when we went together with Diana. We've had the opportunity of going out into the streets,
Mm-hmm.
evangelism into the colleges, into the campuses, hospitals.
Brilliant.
Yeah. We've also had opportunity, you might even say the privilege, certainly, of going into the prison zone as well. And we've also been involved as well in ministry, interestingly, really, in a drug and alcohol rehab centre as well. So it's been quite varied.
It has.
And elements of what I've been involved in through association with Moana Ministry has also been around the pastoral
Mm.
staff side support. So my involvement, although it's not been with the school necessarily, it's been more broader
Mm.
than I thought it would be, and I'm quite excited about it actually.
Wow.
And just to mention as well, the other ministry as well, work as well, is about you sending me on tasks to discover and explore Lusaka. Exciting, exciting.
And you've taken to the roads very well. The Zambian roads are quite different from the Manchester road.
Oh, they are a bit, Janey. They are a bit. They are definitely.
Wow, great. It's just amazing. And Linval, I just thank God for you because you've really been so helpful with finishing off small detailed things around the studio that it would be to bring a workman in to do it, they would kind of laugh, oh, it's such a small job. But they've been so many little jobs that you've done really, really well. And
Thank you.
I'm just really happy and grateful for that.
I'll send my bill to you later in the day.
Yeah.
Jennifer, allowing me the opportunity. It's been exciting, really. Really
Oh,
appreciate that.
good. But then what has God been teaching you, Diana? Because I know it's been a learning journey.
When I first came, I was kind of put on the spot because the teachers in the morning, we have like a meeting, and there's a devotion to do. And so Teacher Florence, I think she was there or wasn't there, can't remember. And then somebody said, "Oh, Diana, you can do you can do Teacher Florence's slot." And I'm like, really? What do I have to do? So that was a challenge. So to be put on the spot and to speak about what God was telling me
Yeah.
or speaking to me about personally. So I've grown in that. That has been good. Just to kind of expound on the scriptures.
Mm.
That's been very good. I feel God wants me to be bolder. So the church that we connected with, they go out and evangelize. Now that's inspired me to go back and help out Andrew, who's in charge of the evangelism ministry in Manchester.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be going out. Yeah, just be bolder to
Mm.
talk about Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing. And Linval, what about you? What has God been teaching you while you've been here?
Teach me. I hope I'm being a good student. No, yeah. I think a range of things, Janie. Um, I I think in many ways, really, and I've got to put it in the context of adapting to the culture, you might say, and learning about the culture. But one of the things that I think God is saying to me quite specifically, really, is about being sensitive and also respectful about the comparative differences, politics as well, but also the economics, of where we're from back home, in the UK, and also being in Zambia. And I think God is speaking to me in saying that when you are, you know, you have the privilege of actually being in a new country. You're being, you're here with new people. At the same time, you know where you're coming from. At the same time, you also got to be respectful that you can't make strict comparisons. You have to respect that you're in a different zone where, whilst you're bringing in some knowledge, yeah, you also can learn tremendously in being in this new culture.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's the element of being respectful, recognizing, again, the politics are different, to some extent. The economics are different, but having that sense of respect and value, that you don't know it all, and you're coming from a Western zone where you, Linval, and amongst other things, and other people really can learn a lot. And that's what God is saying to me. And yeah. So once you've asked the question, I'm still learning. I'm still learning.
We all are. We're all learning, and I really like what you've said. It's true. I learn something every day from living here, and from the Zambian people. They're beautiful people. I'm sure you've seen that. What have you noticed about the Zambian people, or what have you learned from the Zambian people,
Well,
Diana?
I can really say they are hardworking. They
Yeah,
are hardworking. When you see the vendors out,
yeah,
whatever time in the morning till whatever time in the evening,
yeah.
and they're working hard for their family to provide for their family. The women have the babies on their backs, and they're out there working hard. And they're a resilient people as well, and they can use anything. They can use anything and make shift and make it work.
Yeah.
Yep, yep, yep.
So I remember when I think I took one of the buses, the taxis, and they went to
Yes,
get
you've mentioned
petrol.
that,
They filled up an old tank, an old can,
Yeah.
and they had a plastic bottle. They cut the top off and they used it as a funnel.
Yes.
And I thought, oh my goodness,
Yes.
wow, we would go out and just go and buy 3 funnels of different sizes.
Yeah.
But no, they used the plastic bottle,
Yes.
cut off the top, and used
Yes.
it to pour petrol into the
Practical,
car.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so amazing. Yeah, they are. And what about Linval? What's been some of the biggest challenges for you?
Some of
I hope it wasn't me.
No, Jenny. If anything, Jenny, no, you've been tremendous, really. I think you've been very protective, really, and you've given tremendous guidance, to help to shelter from some of those challenges.
Good.
No, the challenge has been living with me.
Well, we'll come back to that. Susan. Yeah. Well, I think one of the biggest challenges, and this is when you actually kind of sent me to given the opportunity, you might say, to explore Lusaka, to do tasks. And in a nutshell, I'd probably say that one of the biggest challenge really is navigating Lusaka's busy traffic.
Yeah, that's true.
And the road system, which carries with it really so many different sides. I think, the biggest challenge really is for anyone coming over is recognizing that Lusaka is a highly populated zone, province, perhaps more than what was intended necessarily. Yeah, but 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 the traffic is busy, and it's fortunate for me really that I'm an experienced driver. If I was not really, then I would find the traffic difficult. But there are some specific aspects of the traffic, if I can say with it. Yeah, the humps.
Oh yes, the road
you
humps.
you have to know, at least be mindful that when you're driving, really, you know that there are humps really. And basically you just have to be careful for that in case your vehicle gets damaged. But what I do find though is that the night driving is challenging.
Oh yes, it
Yeah.
is.
because the lighting system
Is poor.
in some areas is better than others, and that's quite challenging. And I think elements of that is around the issue of safety, pedestrian safety. What is good, what is very good, is a fact really that I find that pedestrians take responsibility.
Okay.
Yeah, which is excellent in that they recognise really that the traffic system is challenging, and therefore they take precaution themselves. The drivers equally take some responsibility in that they're keeping their eyes open as well and so on. But navigating the Lusaka traffic system at night time is quite challenging. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, great. I think just one last question. So what would you say to somebody thinking of stepping out? You know, leaving their comfort zone. It doesn't have to be to a foreign country, but you know, God is always asking us to step out. What would your advice be?
So we do a newsletter, and at the top of the newsletter, it says, it's time to go, it's time to move, the time is now. The time is now. There's nothing like the present, really. And I think if you've heard God clearly, then you need to do it.
Wow, that's good advice. Yeah. Anything to add to that?
Not too much to add into that, I don't think really, except that we've been fortunate to have the opportunity, and that includes in aspects of our jobs really, to be able to, to say, to be obedient.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people may get the impression really that that it was an easy decision. We just kind of dropped everything, and because we got 500,000 millions of pounds in the bank somewhere.
Sure, it wasn't like that.
But we have to think very carefully about
You've been wise.
our decision about it. But I think it's also about looking at the life stage at where anyone might be. And I think of Dan saying, if God's speaking and says, look, there is an opening, there's an opportunity, you really have to grasp that. The provisions will come, but what needs to happen first really is a willingness.
That's true.
And when the opportunity came, me and Dan spoke and said, should it be, should we not? And then Dan said, well, the calling was there, but we really felt really that, we'd be better being obedient to the Lord than just, being overcautious, you might say.
Yeah.
So we rose together to the challenge. And to be honest, Jenny, it's not really been that much of a challenge.
Okay, yeah.
In many ways, really, for us. We just felt that it was right for us to do what we've done.
Yeah.
And that's the message that I'll be saying to others, that if God's speaking and you have an unction or a calling, take the opportunity and then go with it.
Yeah. I definitely can say that in my own walk with God into the mission field, that because it's his calling, there's an ease about it, and he makes things possible, and he helps you through it. So, yeah, if you're watching this and God's speaking to you to go, get up, the time is now. Don't be afraid. Take the step of faith. Trust in the Lord, and the Lord will make a way for you. Amen. So thank you, Diana and Linval. Thank you for coming to Zambia. May God bless you with all that's ahead, whatever that may be. We pray God will lead you. And it's not, the end is not now. You've got so much more to give,
Thank you.
wherever that may be. So God bless you. And thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Bye.
All things are possible.